One late payment can cost you a house, a car, even a $500 credit limit increase. And what's worse is that it sticks for 7 years, even if you paid everything on time since. But there's a loophole, a method that I use with hundreds of clients to remove late payments without ever having to pick up the phone and all the comfort of your couch. This isn't some shady trick or TikTok hack. It's about using federal law and your credit report's own mistakes against them. And here's the crazy part. Most people don't even know that they have these errors. But once you find them and press the right way, the late payments can be gone. Now, every credit report is different. But if the first methods don't get it done, I'll show you a fallback plan that's helped when everything else didn't. Let's start with the most effective and underrated method of getting late payments removed: leveraging credit bureaus' own mistakes. Most people don't realize that bureaus often report information inconsistently, and one mismatch can give you legal reasons to dispute a late payment. This method is simple but powerful. Step 1 is to start by pulling your full credit report. Not just your credit score, but your full credit report with all 3 of the bureaus. This includes TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. I don't recommend Credit Karma. It's helpful for monitoring, but it doesn't show everything. You need the real thing from the actual source. So go to annualcreditreport.com. You can get a free credit report every single week, or you can use a paid tool like Smart Credit or MyFICO, which lays out everything side by side. Pause this video if you need to and pull your report right now. Now that you have your reports, take your time, look at each account that shows a late payment. You usually see payment history displayed as a row of months with codes like OK, 30, 60, 90, or even 120. If you see OK or a green check mark, this means on time. The numbers show how many days that they were late. Now look closely at this real credit report from Smart Credit. This is a Citi credit card account. If you look at the rows at the very bottom, there are some inconsistencies. All 3 show something a little bit different, and that's an inaccuracy. And by law, that's grounds for a dispute. Step 3 is to take screenshots of the payment history for each bureau. I prefer to do this from the actual credit bureau's report. This way, you can pit them against each other. So you want to make sure that you capture the account's name, the last 4 digits of the account number, and the payment history section. Use a simple highlighter tool or even markup on your phone to circle the parts that don't match. Now let's go over the first bureau that shows the mistake. If TransUnion and Equifax says that the December payment was on time, but the Experian says that it was late, then the Experian is the one that you have to dispute first. So you can file that dispute either online through their site or by mail using a dispute letter. Disputing online may be quicker, but you're usually signing away certain rights when you do so. The traditional method is by mail, which I'll get into later. When you file, your message can be short and clear. This account is being reported incorrectly. Both TransUnion and Equifax show that this payment was made on time. Please update your records to reflect accurate reporting. Make sure that you attach your screenshot as proof. Here's a pro tip: only request to update the account if it's mostly clean or has a long positive history. This way you get to keep the history. On the other hand, if you have a string of multiple late payments, it may be better to just request a delete of the account. Now, here's the next step. Once Experian updates the record and it shows as on time, take a new screenshot of the update. Then go back to Equifax and TransUnion and file a new dispute saying, Experian has corrected this account. You are reporting outdated or incorrect information. Please update accordingly. This method works because under the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, your credit report must be complete, accurate, and consistent. So if even one bureau changes their reporting, that makes it easier to push others to match. I've used this method with hundreds of clients, and in many cases, all 3 bureaus remove the late payment. But what if everything matches and the bureaus isn't budging? Here is where we need to change strategies. And this next move can give you the edge that they don't want you to know about. One optional step that you can take prior to disputing is placing a security freeze with some of the most common public record credit bureaus. Data points show that there are slightly better odds of removal if these freezes are in place. The most common secondary bureaus include LexisNexis, SageStream, and Innovis. The first 2 companies, LexisNexis and SageStream, can be frozen at one place. It's pretty straightforward. They will be linked down in the description so you can do so. Once you receive an email or a mail confirmation that the accounts have been frozen, which can take anywhere between 72 hours all the way up to 30 days, this is where you can start your next step. Now, if you don't hear anything within 3 weeks, then I would just suggest proceeding forward. Down below will be a sample dispute letter that you can use and just modify to your own personal situation. It is best just to keep it simple, factual, and straight to the point. Don't try to beg or explain your situation in this dispute letter because it's going to be sent directly to the credit bureaus themselves. They can really care less about your situation. All they really care about is if the information is reported correctly. So in this letter, you want to make sure that you include the account's name, account number, and the reason on why you are disputing. The reason can be simple, such as payment history is incorrect, please update, or late payment was never late, please update, or the payment history is incorrect, please update. I'm pretty sure you get the idea. When sending your first dispute letter to the credit bureaus, make sure that you include these documents: a clear photo of your ID, a recent utility bill to confirm your address, and your social security card. This is optional, but highly recommended. These documents will help verify your identity and make sure that the credit bureau update the correct report. For anyone with a common name, make sure to include all of these up front because it prevents delays of unnecessary back and forth. Once your documents are ready, make sure you send your dispute letter to each credit bureau reporting inaccurate information. If only one bureau has an error, then you only need to send that letter there. If all three has them, then just send separate letters to each one. You can send a letter by first class stamp. Data points show that there's really no difference compared to certified mail. As a pro tip, I would avoid using a handwritten signature. Typing your name out at the end of the letter is more than enough. So far, this is just the first step of the disputing process. You may need to follow up with more letters depending on how they respond. But taking this step now gets the process started and moves you closer to removing late payments from your credit report. No matter how you dispute, you may encounter stall letters or receive letters stating that the information is verified. Just continue to push forward with the dispute and continue to ask them to investigate. 99% of the time, it is a sham investigation and no proof is provided that they even investigated. The credit bureaus were actually sued for this exact reason. As a quick note, everything that I'm showing you in this video, you can absolutely do yourself. You don't need to pay anyone. You've got the tools and the steps right here. But if you're thinking, man, this is a lot to track or do, you're not alone. That's exactly why I built CreditRehab Pro. This software helps you do everything that I'm showing you, but easier. After you link your credit monitoring, you can track which bureaus that you disputed, you get reminders on follow-ups, and even generate letters based on the exact errors on your report. It's a software that turns anyone into a credit repair expert in minutes. CreditRehab Pro keeps you organized, saves time, and helps you get better results. You can scan this QR code or check out the link down below if you want to check it out. Now let's keep it going. The next move is to elevate things with the CFPB. With all of the things that is going on with this presidency, I'm not sure how long this organization will be around, but as of right now, it is still operating. This strategy is one of the most powerful and most people never use it. By now you understand that federal law says that every item on your credit report must be 100% accurate, verifiable, and complete. If it's not, then you have the right to dispute it. The CFPB is the big brother of all of these credit reporting agencies. So let me show you how this works. Step 1 is to go to consumerfinance.gov. This is the official site for the CFPB. You may automatically land on the complaint page. Then scroll down and click Start a new complaint. If you don't already have an account, create one. It's free, it only takes a few minutes. If you already have one, then just use this link. Now you're gonna select what the complaint is about. Choose credit reporting, then click credit reporting again when it asks for the product type. Next, it will ask you what kind of problem that you're experiencing. You're gonna select improper use of my credit report or incorrect information on my credit report. Either one works. Then it'll ask you what best describes your problem. It either can be account information incorrect or account status incorrect. I'm going to select account status incorrect. Next, it will ask you if you already tried to fix this problem with the company. If you have, just click yes. Even if your first dispute didn't work, you technically tried. If you disputed with a letter, normally the letter will ask you for verification. So you can just mark yes here. If it asks what information did you request, you can just say verification and proof of investigation. Since most credit bureaus do not provide this information when they respond back to you, just mark no. Click next and move on. Step 3. This is the most important part, the description of the complaint. This is where you explain the issue in simple, respectful language. You want to be clear, but not too emotional. Here's an example of what you could write. Upon reviewing my credit report, I noticed a late payment listed on account name, and I believe it is inaccurate. I have maintained on-time payments and do not have documentation showing that this payment was legitimately 30 days late. I'm requesting a full investigation and verification of this late payment. If the creditor is unable to provide sufficient evidence, I'm asking that the record be updated to reflect accurate reporting. Since everybody's profile is a little bit different, try to make it personal to your situation. Tell your story in a way that makes sense and shows good faith. At the very bottom of the form, you'll be asked what resolution you want. Just keep it simple and write something like, please update my report to remove or correct any inaccurate late payment reporting. Then upload your proof. Remember those screenshots that you took earlier? Upload the ones that show your account details, the payment history, and any documents that support your case. Even if there's no mismatch, showing that you disputed the accuracy or verification with the item gives the CFPB a reason to investigate. The next step is to choose which bureau that you're filing against, TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax, and only choose one at a time. I will usually provide my last 4 and date of birth just to make sure that there isn't any verification problems. You repeat this exact process with all 3 of the bureaus one by one. Once you hit next, it will ask you for your contact information, and from there, you can just submit the complaint. Now here's what happens next. The CFPB sends your complaint directly with the company. They're required to respond, usually within 15 days. You'll get email updates and a secure message inside of the CFPB portal. So you want to check it often because they may ask for more info or clarification, and you want to respond quickly. I've seen this method work for people who've already tried multiple disputes and were told that the item was verified. When they took that to the CFPB, the pressure was just too much and the bureaus updated or removed the late payment. Now, if that still does not work, there's still one final move that you can make. It's simple, it's direct, and sometimes even works faster than everything else. This is your Hail Mary, and surprisingly, it works more often than you think. We're going straight to the top, literally. It's called a Goodwill letter, but I'll show you how to take it a step further by sending it straight to the CEO. A Goodwill letter is exactly what it sounds like. You're asking a lender to remove the late payment as a one-time courtesy. You're not disputing it, you're not blaming anyone, you're simply saying, I messed up, but I fixed it and I'm asking you to help me out. This method works best if your account is open and in good standing. You've been on time ever since the late payment and you only have 1 or 2 late payments on that account. So here's what you're gonna do. Step 1 is to go to ceoemail.com. This site lists verified contact info for CEOs of most major banks, credit card companies, and lenders. Type in the name of your lender, for example, Capital One, Discover, or American Express. Then find the CEO's name and email address. Yes, you're really gonna email the CEO. The CEO probably won't be the person seeing this, it will most likely be the secretary, but they have more pull than you think. Step 2 is to write a short and respectable message. No need to get dramatic, just be real. Here's a simple structure. Dear CEO's name, I've been a loyal customer for a company name for X amount of years. Unfortunately, I missed a payment in month and year due to a brief explanation of like a job loss, medical issues, or whatever pertains to your situation. Since then, I've enrolled in autopay and made every payment on time. I'm currently working towards buying a home, and this one late payment is affecting my credit. I'm respectfully asking if it's possible to remove this from my credit report as a courtesy. Thank you for your time and reviewing my request. Now, this doesn't guarantee the removal, but it's more effective than you think. These companies handle thousands of requests, but when it comes directly to the executive level, it gets noticed. Step 3 is to follow up. If you don't hear nothing back in a week or 2, then send a second message. You can send the same request to different executives, like the head of customer relations or compliance. This approach is often called the saturation technique. Most people just give up too soon, so you have to try it at every angle. And remember, always stay polite and professional. You're asking for a favor, not demanding a change. Be human, be honest, and keep it short. I've seen people get responses in less than a week with a simple email like this. Keep in mind, only do this as a last resort. Since if you try to dispute these late payments later on, these emails can be used as verification that you did indeed cause the late payment. If you have other negative items on your credit report, like collections, then check out this video over here where I'll show you how to wipe them off. See you over there.